Equal Voice was founded 23 years ago with a straightforward mission: get more women elected across Canada. That's a mission that we share. It's why we funded as a government Daughters of the Vote and the Modernizing Legislatures project. It's why I've touted the adage, add women, change politics, which to us is more than just words. We've taken action to make it a reality, appointing the first female finance minister. Under Stephen Harper, 32% of judges appointed were women, 56% under this government. Under the new Senate appointment process, that chamber is now majority women, as is the Supreme Court. And of course, the first thing I did as Prime Minister was appoint the first gender-balanced cabinet in Canadian history, and under my leadership, that'll always be the case. It's not just in federal politics. Elsewhere across the country, your hard work and advocacy has made important progress as well. This year, British Columbia elected the first ever provincial legislature where a majority of members are women. But of course, as important as representation is, it's also a means to an end, not just an end in itself. Representation matters because when women are properly represented in our politics, better choices are made for women and for the country as a whole. Choices such as Canada-wide childcare after 50 years of trying. The first ever federal gender-based violence strategy and bringing in tougher gun laws that directly protect women. And of course, soon, free prescription contraceptives, because we don't just believe in a woman's right to choose, we act on it. Now, appropriately, today, December 10th, is Human Rights Day. And standing up for human rights means standing up unequivocally for women's rights. On doit être lucide. Il y a des politiciens qui se battent et votent contre le droit des femmes de choisir. Ce sont des forces régressistes et réactionnaires qui veulent nous faire reculer et réussissent malheureusement trop souvent. Now, it shouldn't be that way. It wasn't supposed to be that way. We were supposed to be on a steady, if difficult sometimes, march towards progress. And yet, just a few weeks ago, the United States voted for a second time to not elect its first woman president. Everywhere, women's rights and women's progress is under attack, overtly and subtly. But I want you to know that I am, and always will be, a proud feminist. You will always have an ally in me and in my government. Cette célébration de tout ce que À Voix égale a accompli, c'est aussi l'occasion de réaffirmer notre engagement envers la lutte pour l'égalité pour tous et bien surtout pour toutes. Merci beaucoup à tout le monde. Merci d'être ici ce soir. Thank you all so much. Have a wonderful evening. Bonsoir, mes amis.
Can everyone please do a round of applause and thank you to the Prime Minister. Now at Equal Voice, of course, we want to hear from all of the parties, and we want to make sure that we have a chance to hear from the Conservative Party of Canada. I am very excited to have, and I'd like to invite Melissa Lanceman up to the stage, the Deputy Leader of the Conservative Party. Thank you for joining us, and we're delighted to have you back this year.
Thank you so much for having me. First off, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy whatever you celebrate, and I hope this time of year brings you joy, time with your families, time with friends, and most importantly, some hope in the year ahead. I am immensely proud to be in a room with so many change makers, so many that I know, so many that helped me out, united for a common purpose to build a more prosperous country for women and girls, and to have more women in more seats in our chambers and in our legislatures across this vast country. But while this room is united in this goal, I can't help to think that the country is divided. And I'm going to say that we're divided because I think people would rather hurl insults instead of trying to understand anybody who doesn't hold the same view as you do. I think we're divided because leaders in our country and in countries around the world prioritize labels instead of prioritizing substance and action. And most of all, I think we're divided because we've placed diversity of thought on the back burner in an exchange for lofty platitudes of those who believe that all women who hold elected office have to have the same view on every single issue. I said this last year at the podium, and I'm honestly surprised that I got invited back, but that surprise, frankly, is met with some hope that this message is one that a few of you at least agree with. And I want to give you an uncomfortable truth. I was elected not entirely because of rooms like this. A lot of people in rooms like this, for sure. But because I was tested in a hard-fought nomination, earning my right to run in a winnable riding in an election. I was never tokenized or given the opportunity to run somewhere unwinnable to fill an imaginary allocation. I have seen so many in my orbit, in fact, literally care for the children of my campaign manager so she could talk to 100 more people that night. I have seen women in my party rise to positions of great responsibility because of merit, because of excellence, because of intelligence, and not because of quotas. And I think when you think about how do we ensure to have more women in elected office, I think it can't be seeking diversity through uniformity. Otherwise, we end up with the performative political theater I've witnessed in my time here in Ottawa. If you aren't prepared to speak about the rise, the 74% rise in sexual assaults, the 83% rise in human trafficking, the single mothers watering down their milk so they can feed their kids because they can't get by, the brave women standing in Iran against their oppressors, the sexual violence in acts of terror, the missing and murdered Indigenous women that still don't have justice, then why bother pretending any of it matters? I think you're going to hear a lot of pretty words over the course of the night, and I challenge you with this. Take those words and contrast them against the actions of the leaders that are saying those words. Hold the people in positions of power responsible. Take those words and use them as a rallying cry, not just for the how many, but for the why. Why you do this as equal voice, why we all do this for our friends we want to see in elected office. That's the way that we had progress. It's the only way that we have had progress. And it can't be about gendered balanced cabinets or a humankind dictionary. It can't be about other things that pander and demean. It has to be real. It has to be more than symbols. It has to be actual substance. It has to be real results for real people. And I am happy to fight that fight with you every single day of the week. I want to thank Equal Voice for allowing me the chance to have this podium, and I hope that this spurs a conversation, a serious conversation about this organization and so many of you that do the work across the country to make sure that there is more women in office. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lantzman. Malheureusement, le chef du Bloc québécois, Yves-François Blanchet n'a pas pu se joindre à nous, a dû faire part de ses regrets. Mais nous savons que le BQ, Bloc québécois, compte des femmes extraordinaires dans son caucus, y compris sa porte-parole, André Larouche, qui a été une championne incroyable. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Jagmeet Singh, leader of the New Democratic Party, onto the stage. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. An honor to be here tonight. How are y'all doing tonight? Excellent. I want to also extend my welcome to all the dignitaries here, all the elected officials. President Sirleaf, your election is inspiring. I look forward to your speech later on tonight. I was unable to attend last gala, and I sent in a video for folks that might recall. And the reason was we were waiting the birth of our next child. We didn't know the gender at the time. So I am now doubly committed to equal voice. I'm doubly committed to equal voice because I'm a proud father of 2 daughters. And one of those, thank you. And the second daughter that we were waiting for is here with me tonight. So if you hear some cries, I think she's just waiting for me to get back to her. So I got to say, I have seen, if I can be really blunt, I've seen a lot of older white men fail upwards again and again. And that is just going to continue unless we actually try to change things. So I fundamentally believe if you don't change things, you're going to have the same system. And the same system is going to benefit those that were already in power. So you have to fundamentally do things to change it, and that's what Equal Voice is about. Saying we got to change the way things are if we want different results. If you want different outcomes, you can't just hope they're going to happen. You got to make them happen. And that's with policies, that's by putting in place real clear strategies. And so I want to thank you for the work you do. I wanted to maybe wrap up by telling you a little bit about my daughters and why I care so much about the future that we build. Our first daughter, we named her Unhud, and we really put a lot of thought into this. Each of our names has a meaning. My name, Jagmeet, means friend to the world. So my wife and I put a lot of thought into the name we want to give her. Unhud means infinite, because when we saw her and when she was born, we thought we want her to live a life without limits. And so it means infinite or limitless. And we want her to be able to live that life without any barriers. But we know, sadly, there are so many barriers that impact women to this day. And so we wanted that for her. And we thought about it a bit more. We actually want that for every baby girl that's born. We want that for everyone, not just in Canada, but around the world. We want to see a world that's limitless for our kids. And then we were lucky enough to have a second daughter, who's Dani. That's who is with me tonight. And Dani means generous. And we thought the universe was so generous to give us the great honor of having 2 daughters. And so we named her Dani. And so as a dad of 2 daughters, I really want to see a world where women are in more positions of power. I know that we have better decisions, better results when women are in those positions of power. So thank you to Equal Voice for all the work you do. Thank you for trying to build a better world. Thank you for everyone that's here tonight to support that cause, which is a very noble cause. Honored to be here. Thank you so much. Please continue this great work.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. It is great to have you joining us in person this year. Now I would like to invite Ms. Elizabeth May, the leader of the Green Party, onto the stage.
Hello, everyone. C'est un grand honneur pour moi de prendre la parole ce soir pour célébrer les femmes dans le monde de politique, tous les députés qui sont femmes ici dans cette salle et les femmes dans cette salle qui vont devenir les députés à l'avenir. We have women in this room who are going to change the world. As the only woman leader of a federal political party, and I have to say it makes me very worried that I've been able to say that since 2006. I'm the only woman leader of a federal political party. And that's not an accident. I so appreciate the fact that in the Green Party, you look around the world, there are 80 Green Parties around the world. And tonight when we celebrate African women leadership with President, oh my God, I'm so honored to be on the same stage. But the leader and the founder of the Green Party of Kenya was my friend, another Nobel laureate, Wangari Maathai, who led a movement. We try around the world as Greens with the founder of the German Greens, Petra Kelly. There are so many women leaders who have been, just without being celebrated, without being mentioned. It's very common within the Greens. The current foreign minister for Germany, former co-leader of the Greens, Annalena Baerbock. We celebrate these things. And I want to say it matters what Justin Trudeau did. It mattered to appoint a gender-balanced cabinet, because the first prime minister to do that, it's okay to applaud. I'm not partisan. I hate politics, in case you missed that. But the first prime minister in the world to appoint a gender-balanced cabinet was the Prime Minister of Norway, Gro Harlem Brundtland, a woman leader who made a brave decision, and it changed Norwegian life, it changed Norwegian politics, and now the Norwegian corporate boardrooms are also balanced in terms of gender and power and voice. It matters. And we work together because our political system, let's face it, Leah Gazan said it earlier, but a lot of you missed it. I can't really actually encapsulate everything Leah said. I think the word toxic, maybe cesspool was used, misogyny. I'm trying to remember everything. Yeah. And I've got friends in this room in every party, NDP, Conservative, Liberal, Bloc. Nous sommes ensemble, un petit famille. It's important that we work together. It's important that we care about each other. And it's important that we lift each other up, not tear each other down, and stand together arm in solidarity. That was my 3 minutes. I put a timer on. I'm done. Except for one thing. If this is a fundraiser, how come I got a free ticket? How many of you got free tickets? Go on your phones right now and donate to Equal Voice. We are not freeloaders. We donate.
Thank you, Miss Elizabeth May. I want to thank all of the leaders and all of the parties for showing up this evening. We want to thank you for your dedication to serving our country and being phenomenal role models for all of us. So please take a moment. I believe that the next course is coming up, and please enjoy a bit of a break. Thank you, everyone.